Hello and welcome to this new episode of the Eigen Values podcast. This is an audio version of the Eigen Values Substack that can be found at davidturver.substack.com. This time we'll look at how artificial intelligence is going to destroy the net zero electricity demand forecasts. If you enjoy this podcast, please like, share and subscribe to receive more content. Over the past few months, the newswires have been hot with stories about the large-scale data centers that will be required to meet the needs of the forthcoming revolution in artificial intelligence, also known as AI. How much electricity will these new data centers consume, and what does that mean for the electricity demand forecasts underpinning the plans for net zero? To give a flavour of the scale of the data center developments that are coming, it's helpful to look at the recent announcements from large tech companies. Back in March, it was announced that Amazon had bought a 960 megawatt data center that is powered by an adjacent nuclear power station. In April, Mark Zuckerberg of Meta, that owns Facebook and Instagram, among others, said energy requirements may hold back the build-out of AI data centers. He also talked about building data centers that would consume 1 gigawatt of power. Last month, Oracle chairman Larry Ellison announced that Oracle was designing a data center that would consume more than 1 gigawatt, and that will be powered by 3 small modular nuclear reactors, or SMRs. Then Microsoft also got into the act when it announced it had done a deal with US utility Constellation to restart the 835 megawatt 3 Mile Island Unit 1 nuclear power plant to power its data centers. Anxious not to be left out, Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, said they too were working on 1 gigawatt data centers and saw money being invested in SMRs. Finally, Sam Altman of OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, has trumped them all by pitching the idea of 5 gigawatt data centers to the White House. Altman has been heard talking of building between 5 and 7 of these leviathans. Bloomberg, usually a driver of the net zero bandwagon, has reluctantly admitted that there's not enough clean energy, nuclear or otherwise, to satisfy AI's voracious appetite, and gas will have to fill the gap. America's national security and energy security is eclipsing climate concerns. This admission is important because it acknowledges that such important infrastructure cannot rely upon the vicissitudes of the weather. These data centers need a source of electricity that is reliable and always available. It would be absurd to think that a ChatGPT user will want to receive a message saying that their request cannot be processed because it's not windy enough. When companies bandy about such large numbers, it's difficult to visualize just how big they are. For context, consider that a 1 gigawatt data center would consume 8.76 terawatt hours of electricity each year. 7 of Altman's enormous 5 gigawatt data centers would consume over 306 terawatt hours. According to the Digest of UK Energy Statistics, the UK generated just 292.6 terawatt hours in 2023. That means the plans for ChatGPT alone will consume more electricity in a year than the UK, which is the 6th largest economy in the world, managed to generate. Now consider what the total demand is going to be when you add in the requirements from the likes of Amazon, Oracle, Microsoft, Meta, Google, and X. Clearly, AI energy demand is going to be huge. And if you want to compete in this new industry, we're going to need cheap, reliable, and abundant energy. However, the plans for UK electricity use in 2050 are tiny by comparison. The Royal Society assumed only 570 terawatt hours of annual demand in its report on long-term storage. In their latest FES report, the National Grid electricity system operator assumed somewhere between 615 and 719 terawatt hours of demand across the industrial, commercial, residential, and transport sectors in their pathways that achieve net zero by 2050. The RS report relies solely on wind and solar renewables plus hydrogen storage, whereas the FES report supplements renewables with what's called bioenergy with carbon capture and storage, or BECCS, gas with carbon capture, together with some nuclear and some hydrogen. Of course, they're also relying upon what they euphemistically call demand-side response, otherwise known as energy rationing or turning off companies and domestic appliances at times of high demand. This kind of rickety power system will not be robust enough for AI data centers. Even if such a system could be made robust, it's easy to see how the AI revolution could consume an extremely high proportion or even all of the electricity that's been planned for 2050. It's difficult to see how there's going to be enough electricity to go around. This puts into doubt Blackstone's recently agreed deal to invest 10 billion in a new data center complex in Blythe. Moreover, with the government recently announcing that we have the most expensive industrial electricity costs of the 28 countries covered by the IEA, then there has to be a risk that the project does not go ahead. Remember, the same Blythe site was once earmarked to manufacture energy-intensive EV batteries, and that deal fell through. The plans for expensive, scarce energy are not only damaging existing industries, they're also hampering our ability to compete to host the industries of the future. We need to change our energy policy before it's too late. As the Amazon and Microsoft investments demonstrate, nuclear needs to play a much bigger role in our future energy mix. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel to receive more content, or sign up at davidturver.substack.com.